Well, good morning, everybody. It is a gorgeous Saturday, even though it's still chilly. We are amazingly above freezing. So there is that. Before we get too much further, yes, my voice sounds like this. No, actually, I'm not sick. It's something much worse. I was moving some stuff around and I have Percy who likes to shed every now and then, and a couple cat hairs got in my mouth, and there's one stuck at the back of my throat which has been causing me to cough. So yeah, my voice sounds like this because I have a cat hair in the back of my throat, and it takes a couple days for it to decide to either finish washing itself down or dissolve itself. I ate some pineapple today because pineapple is the fruit that bites you back, and I think I'm going to go to Publix and buy some more pineapple. That might help get rid of the hair a little bit faster. But yeah, I'm perfectly fine. It's great. Uh, but it happens. So if I have to do a little bit of a cough, it's a super dry cough, which makes it even worse. Then I will try to mute as quickly as I can. If I could remember how to mute this. That button? Okay, now I know how to button. So my friend Steven of Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter was firsties. He's like, "Hi Russ, I'm first here. LOL." We have Christina. Steven says, "I know it's not funny about the cat hair, but it's funny. It is hilarious. It is freaking hilarious. This happened to me a couple of years ago. That was a Jessie hair, and Jessie has had long hairs. So it was miserable, and there's no way that you can just, go back there and grab it because one, I can't see exactly where it is, and two, apparently your body doesn't like when you have fingers stuck that far back. Good morning, Jeannie and Kathy, and good morning, Josie. Other Kathy says, "Sorry about that. What a thing." Yeah, it's a hazard of having cats. And like I said, I'm laughing hysterically about it because, it happens. There's nothing you can do to really stop it other than, having a hairless cat, and those things are frightening. Um, it's just, when a hair decides to go flying and stuff, yeah. Steven's like, "What? You have a gag reflex?" Oddly, not that this, is anything. When there's something, irritating it, yes. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Um, I got some of that chloroseptic, which is supposed to help kind of numb the stuff, and that was just making me cough and gag worse. So yeah, I'm just like, it is what it is. I will get through this. I think I'm gonna go to Publix after this and buy some more pineapple because pineapple I think might help because, like I said, there's enzymes in pineapple. Is the fruit that bites you back. If you eat enough pineapple, your taste buds start to go numb, and it's because the enzymes have started dissolving your taste buds. I'm like, if I can get the enzymes to dissolve the cat hair a little bit, because cat hair also has like little barbs on it, which is why it's very difficult if you have something that has cat hair in it and you wash it, it clumps up. It's just crazy. So it just like knots onto each other very quickly. So that's why it's really stuck. Is rough toast an option? I have tried everything. I've tried peanut butter, I've tried honey, I've tried, bagel, just anything that would help. hopefully grab onto it, and I don't know what it is. And like I said, I've had this happen before, at least one time before, maybe twice, and it takes about a week for it to just flush itself out of the system. So as long as I'm a little cautious about, I'm just gonna say the amount of talking I do sometimes, or everything else, then that's what it is. It's just, when you cough a lot, your vocal cords become inflamed, and that's why I sound like this. So I feel fine. No fevers, no um, infestations of anything else. It's just one, maybe two cat hairs stuck on that. Let's see, Monsters House told me it's called an uvula. So that's about where it feels like it's stuck. But today we are finishing up the Fort Worth Fabric Studio Winter's Night Sew Along. And I did not print out this week's instructions, but it is what we're doing is we're finishing everything up. We are putting sashing strips on our blocks, putting the blocks on, and doing a couple borders. Let's see. Steven says, okay, tip. Don't lick your cat. But they clean each other by licking. I don't understand the problem. I thought that's how you're supposed to help and show that you love them and everything. Good morning, Dana. How are you? Who says greetings to all. See, there's this button. So I am going to work on getting sashing strips on these. Might want to turn on my iron because I'll probably want to iron something. So I would normally suggest when you're doing sashing strips to put the sashing on the bottom and the block on top so that you can make sure you don't lose any of your points. I'm just doing the sew and pray method. Sew and pray is usually good enough. Glad I'm not coughing up fur balls. Yes. That is one thing that I can say is I'm glad I'm not. I've had, my body try to do a couple of those little, ejecting everything that's in my system. But I'm like, there's nothing in my system to eject. It's just in my throat. It's just because cats are just crazy and have that crazy fur. Good morning, Ingrid, who says, hi, Russ and everybody. Everyone. So we are finally starting to defrost here. Although this week's storm was a little interesting. I found it weird because we got nothing where I live. And by nothing, I mean there was like threats of like 5 or 6 snowflakes, but that was it. However, a handful of miles away from me down in Buckhead, they got pretty covered. Downtown and Midtown got pretty good snow, and south of us got craziness. But yeah, nothing for me, and I'm like, whatever, I don't care. Good morning, Sue, who says, "Good morning, Russ, and all the Saturday sowers. Good morning, Amy C., who's going to listen while she's hunting for a piece of out of print Tula for a friend." What piece of Tula are you looking for, Amy? Good morning, Jen. Dana says, "Thanks for the tip to put the block on the bottom." She's at the same stage. You can put the block on the top or the bottom. Uh, I just do the bottom because I get to see everything a little easier. But if you put the block on top, you can make sure you don't lose your points if you have any risk of losing points. Amy is looking for one of the All Stars Big Squirrels prints. Okay. I can't help you there. Okay, so I've got them on left and right, and we are alternating the pattern. So this time I'm actually putting the block that has the sashing on the bottom because it's bigger. And on this side, I can actually make sure I don't lose any of my points. So yeah, it doesn't really matter, but it does help if you're making sure that you want to keep your points. And I'm going to be pressing in between each seam just to make sure everything stays flat. So the next one is the hidden star. The All Stars Big Squirrel sounds like that's going to be a toughie to find. Because that's been out of print for a while, if I remember correctly. It's almost like the only hope you'd have is scalpers. Or maybe Adam Sows, because you know he does have a lot of the older stuff. Or some of the older stuff. So besides hunting for fabric and working on this, what are folks working on today? Anything exciting? I know tomorrow I am going to be working on the Kona 2025 block of the month here on my channel. I have a special guest joining. And then I've had another friend say, "Oh, I meant to buy it so that I can join you." So he might be buying it and joining later. But definitely after this live, I'm going to be cutting up more fabric and working on borders for my sister's graduation quilt because I am so far behind where I want to be. I just need to have it done by the end of the month so I can make sure I get it shipped off in time for it to be long armed and back. And I've only got 2 borders to put on that one. Good morning, Patricia, who says, "Good morning, Russ and all." Amy says she has some of it, just hoping she has the right color she's needing. Oh, good morning, Candace. How you doing today? These fabrics have been so pretty to work with. I normally don't do anything with the glittery fabrics because a lot of times they don't have a good feel. But this is intended to be a table runner or a bed runner, so not something that you would really want to be cuddling with. So I don't think the feel matters as much. Jen wants to cut a quilt, but not sure which one. Are you stuck in analysis paralysis? Because I always hate when I'm like, okay, what do I want to work on next? Sue is making strip blocks out of Mizu fabrics scraps for her niece's new golden doodle puppy, Lucy. Lucy's big bro goes to Mizzou. Oh. So now we have one giant row. Gotta fix that seam. It decided to flip the wrong way. And now we get the fun of putting borders on. I've said that I get to be a little meticulous about borders. It's fun. Good morning, Stephanie. Aren't you supposed to be on a cruise ship? which you may be in. You may be at a port and stuff and have some internet to say hi. A border. So I've already done the math and I cut this border to be the size that it's supposed to be. And I will clip it at both ends. And then the next thing I do is I bring the two ends together. And basically pull it open. To line everything up, and that helps basically ease everything in. Stephanie is flying to Miami in a little while and the ship leaves tomorrow. Okay. I knew it was sometime around now. I just couldn't remember if you were on ship today or tomorrow. And then I do the same thing. I just pick a halfway point and clip. And then I feel like this one needs it again. And that's just what helps ease your borders in evenly. If you just pick your halfway points and halfway points, it just helps ease it in. And then I will go into this other half, do the same folding. Get everything lined up, and then here we go. And then we do the same thing with the other half. So it's not a lot of extra work, but it's just a lot of annoying work just to help make sure everything lines up how I want it to and eases in at the same way that I want it to. Good morning, Donnell. I am doing well, contrary to what my voice sounds like. I told everybody earlier I got a cat hair stuck in the back of my throat, and it's been causing me to do some absurd coughing. Just because, cat hairs are a little irritating. But I'm trying to get rid of it, and hopefully we'll be fine soon. Okay, I'm clipped all the way. And I think I'm going to sew with the bulk on the bottom. And then I'm basically letting the clips do a majority of the work of easing in, because I know that this little area that I'm sewing is all that needs to be properly eased in to make everything line up and square. I don't have to worry about, am I going to be too much on one side or not enough? Donnell says, as a cat mommy, I completely understand. Coughing up hairballs is not fun for them or us. It is more violent for them. I have seen my cats cough up hairballs, and like The Exorcist was more pleasant than that. I just hadn't had to worry about a hairball since Jesse passed because Percy's hair is so much shorter. But yeah, I've just been shifting some stuff around, and I don't know whether it's just some of his undercoat that got caught or maybe some of Jesse's old hair that's still around the house every now and then. Who knows? But like I said, I'm fine. It's just my voice doesn't sound it. It was amusing because I went to QT this morning to get some breakfast, and the guy was like, "You're not getting your usual?" I was like, "Nope, I have pineapple that I need to eat." I had a scene trying to go the wrong direction, but I caught it. That was a pretty long scene. Then again, borders are always your long scene. I'm just not used to a like 70 something inch seam for a border of a table runner. One more of these. So again, what I do is I grab one side, I clip, and then I clip at the first intersection. And then I just make sure it stays flat-ish. Get to the other side. And I do the same thing. I flip it in the corner. Donnell says she's got to run for now. Everyone hit that thumbs up, please. Thank you, Donnell. Have a wonderful day. And then because I made sure it stayed flat, I shouldn't have any twists and turns now. And I should just be able to line it up, grab the centers, and clip. Some people are brave enough to just go ahead and just sew their borders freely on it, on the quilt center. I'm not that brave, but I'm also not one that does that silly thing of measure your quilt top in three areas and average them. And I don't do that one because I make sure my quilt blocks come out the right size. If your quilt blocks come out the right size, you shouldn't need to do the measuring. You shouldn't need to do the measuring trick. You should just have to. Okay, that way? Okay. I had a scene that I was like, okay, which way doesn't want to go? If your quilt blocks are all the right size, you shouldn't have to do the measuring trick. But um, if you're a little off and you've had to square up your blocks and stuff, then yes, do the measuring trick to figure out your size. I just measure all my blocks as I'm going, and if I have to adjust, then I will adjust later at this time. I didn't have to adjust with these. I have had to adjust with others. So it's just basically knowing where you are with your quilt blocks if you have to do any adjustments. And I have one more to go. And it's usually just this first border that I will be overly meticulous about like this. Uh, any other borders, as long as you don't do any cornerstones and stuff, you shouldn't have to be as meticulous because you've got a solid um, a solid piece of or a single piece of fabric that you're trying to line up against. So it makes it a lot easier to help prevent you from stretching. So the remaining borders that I'm about to put on, I'm not going to do this clip and line up method because they're going to be lined up. And these are the tricks that work for me. If you have other border methods that you prefer, please use those. I don't want to be one to say, this is the best way because I'm going to tell you this is not necessarily the best way to do borders. It's just what works for my brain. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm about to do a very unorthodox method that people are like, what? It is pleasant to have, not a lot of bulk doing this long seam. Because my sister's quilt doing this borders, it is a long seam, but a queen size quilt full of bulk over to the side. Good morning, Colleen, who says good morning, Russ and everyone, and bon voyage, Stephanie. I am very jealous of Stephanie getting to go on a cruise. I've never been on one. I want to go on one. I just haven't, had an opportunity yet. And because, graduations, that's taken up my vacation time this year and next. So the unorthodox thing that I am about to do is I'm only going to press a couple inches of these simply because I've only got a small pressing area over here. So I'm only going to press a couple inches out. And if I wasn't live, I'd be doing the big thing and pressing everything. But the reason why I'm doing this is because the middle doesn't matter right now. But the edges do. So I have flat surface, flat seams for the edge where I'm now going to be putting on the left and right borders. And like I said, because everything is basically flat, I don't have to do my crazy pinning or clipping that I normally do. Excuse me, I meant to mute. I apologize. I don't like that. If you can see, how do I get this? I kind of went off quite a bit here. I don't like how far off I got, so I'm just going to do a quick seam rip. I only have to go back to about where I misaligned and just reline everything up again. Colleen says we should encourage Russ to go to Alaska. Stephanie, it's a great place to visit. Yes. Okay, lining my stuff back up. That's better. Hopefully by the time 2026 comes, I'll have like all my stuff settled back in again to do like the Alaska 2026. Okay, and then the other one. Good morning, Michelle the Quilter. How you doing? And the good thing about if you're able to do your borders this way, you have a straight line that you can use to trim it up. And I am going to press this entire seam because it's so small, since I need both ends pressed anyway. And we have two seams left. So I am going to line this up. That doesn't look square for some reason. What did I do? What kind of idiot was I? That was definitely not square. That looks a lot better. And then now it's just lining up the two pieces of fabric. And pretending you're doing a jelly roll race. It'll just lining things up, smoothing it down. When I dropped Riley off at daycare yesterday, it was kind of amusing because, I handed the manager over there her leash and everything, and she'll take her out to the back usually and let her in the play area. But I started talking about something, and then Riley goes, no, 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 it's time for me to go play. And she somehow got the leash out of the daycare manager's hand and just ran to the back and said, "Let me in." Then she almost got herself in trouble. She likes to go after tails for some reason. I do not understand why. But she went after a husky's tail yesterday, and the husky wasn't having any of that and kind of snapped back at her. And then they had like a little bit of a face off. And Riley was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm probably good." I do not need her to be, biting another butt. Good morning, Sally. Happy Saturday. Candace says Riley could be into that kind of game. I don't know where she would have gotten it from. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Sally. She says she really misses sewing, but since her stroke, she can't see well enough. Well, hopefully you'll be able to be seen well enough soon. This is the last border, and then it'll be ready to go put on the long arm. Nope, no idea, Candace. Absolutely none. I guarantee you she's never seen me do anything like that. Now, what her foster parents did, who knows? Thank you, Colleen, who's saying it's very beautiful. It was a Fort Worth Fabric Studio pattern and kit, so they get to take full credit for the way that it looks. because I bought the kit from them and I bought the pattern from them. I will be glad when, the important quilts have been done because that means I can get back on the long arm again and getting some more projects long arm. Last month with, Christmas and uh, the retreat and year-end stuff with work, I did not get a chance to do any playing on the long arm. Jenna's asking, what do I plan to back it with? I bought a blue, and I think it's very similar to this blue right here, if I'm remembering correctly. They told us, I think it was on their announcement page, they said, here's a whole bunch of options that you can pick. And I ended up picking, I think it was very close to this blue, if it wasn't even exactly that blue. The bigger thing is going to be which thread and pantograph I'm going to use. And then, is it going to be my winter bed runner, or am I going to gift it away to somebody who either has a big table or wants a winter bed runner? Spoiler alert, I've never had a bed runner, so. Okay, let's see what pressing I can do real quick. That makes it pretty easy. Okay, let me get this in trimmed. And one more side to press. And last trim. And I have a completed table runner top. I'm just doing the best I can show with this. I think it's gorgeous. I need to thank Fort Worth Fabric Studio for putting this kit together and providing the patterns. Like I said, I'm going to get this on the long arm as soon as I can. I've got some cutting left for my sister's graduation quilt, and I just saw what it looks like in the video up there, and it's gorgeous. So yes, thank you again, Fort Worth Fabric Studio, for the kits and the pattern. Thank you, Stephanie, who says it's gorgeous. She has her own version of it as well because she did the tutorials for Fort Worth Fabric Studio, some of which I would have been able to do some of these blocks without. So thank you, Stephanie, for doing the tutorials. There's a lot of beautiful love it's coming into the chat. Thank you. So yeah, we've got Fort Worth Fabric Studio ending. Next week on my live, I haven't quite figured out what I'm doing yet. I'm probably going to be doing my Saturday sampler block just because I think that's what's immediate in my list of things to do. I need to, start organizing things to figure out what my stuff is going to be doing for the next few months, just because that's going to be a good way for me to keep myself honest and keep myself on track. Don't forget to join me tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. I will be working on the first month of the Kona 2025 block of the month. I am getting this program through my local quilt shop, but there are several places online that you can sign up and get the fabrics for. Some places you can get the pattern and do your own charm packs. I can imagine this being a gorgeous project in many different types of fabrics. So join me tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern for that. And as always, every Wednesday afternoon, my weekly vlog comes out with the shenanigans that I have gotten up to throughout the week. So I'm going to go. I'm going to stop talking now and give my voice a little bit of rest and see if I can go get something else to try to alleviate this stupid cat here. Toodles!